There we
All
go.
right.
Yeah, well, good to see you. Good to see you. It's been a few weeks, hasn't it, since everything has sort of closed and things have started dying down. But
Yep.
obviously, here kind of for a testimonial. So it'd be really good if we could get like a background on what it is that your company does, and then a little bit about agencies and the process, maybe how you found us, and how quickly you went from listing the agency to when it went live, and then getting offers and the deal closing.
Yeah. So I'll say in the beginning, this isn't the first time that I've been pitched to sell my agency. I've had many other dogs at the bowl, so to speak. Especially in the downturn, lots of people were like reaching out, other agency owners, brokers, everything else. And Andy, I think you really stuck out for me. Just I don't know. I think I got a really good gut feel from you, and I think it was warranted. It felt like you were knowledgeable, you knew the space, you were supportive, but also at the same time, I think you gave me some good hard truths about where my business was at and what that's required. Um, in on top of that, I think I found it refreshing that you had like the WhatsApp where I could reach out to you and I'd get like a response often within an hour, if not like 10 minutes. And I'm sure that has a toll on your personal life, but I didn't really feel that. Um,
Well, with you, Arjun, it was always fun. We
yeah, no, and
had strange ones, didn't we? Particularly with that I don't know, serial killer, whatever. But
yeah, yeah, the serial, yeah, yeah, I won't speak too much about him. Anyway, look, the
I'll edit
process
that
was.
out, actually. Yeah, I don't want him chasing.
Yeah, yeah, he might be out there. Look, the process was pretty interesting. I think I reached out to you after seeing a post from you in like August of 2023. I was pretty burned out after a agency process that kind of, I was just kind of like stuck in the middle, felt like, between my team and my clients. And I felt like the clients needed more, the team needed more. And I didn't know if I had the ability to provide it to them. Personally, I knew I wanted to, but I don't know if I just was equipped with the right set of capabilities. Um, when we started talking, you didn't have a hard sell for me. I think your offer was pretty simple. It's like, hey, we can put you up in the marketplace. If you get an offer, great. If you don't, no worries, you owe me nothing. And I found that pretty refreshing. I was like, okay, cool. I mean, so I have really nothing to lose and everything to gain. And, hit this guy's incentives are aligned to mine. And oftentimes when there's like a win-win scenario, there's often like weird escalator clauses and, hey, you still have to pay for this if it doesn't happen or whatever else. Um, and I think, there was none of that from your side. So I was pretty interested. And at the time, I was just like, I had people in my corner saying, mate, you're not going to sell this business. It's just not sellable yet. Wait another 12 months. But I
Mm.
was like, well, fuck it. Like, this agreement only goes for 12 months. So if it's not sellable, then I'll know in 12 months that it's not sellable. And then I'll try again, with a different business.
Yeah.
Um,
And a
so
lot of agency owners do get told that their business isn't big enough, it isn't, isn't this, isn't that. But my message to those people is there's always there's always a buyer for every business, but our job is trying to find as many people as possible that potentially will be that buyer. And
yeah.
what was amazing about your listing was, as I don't know whether you know this, but I think it was a record on the agency's platform. I think we had about 45 signed NDAs within a couple of hours of it going live. It went bananas really quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, I was shocked when I put some stuff on a Google Drive. I gave you some information, and 2 days later, I had 45 people like knocking down the doors, looking to have some conversations, and I was just like, "Holy shit, this guy's legit."
Mm.
And it was, agency owners I know, and people who aren't publicly saying they're buying agencies or whatever else, but people I've met before asking for information, which was just, and people I respect in the industry that I got to chat to. So, I mean, that was just phenomenal. It was just a really, really strong like opening start. And what it gave me is really good leverage because I'm now able to say with full faith, like I had like 40 plus, not real offers, but soft like expressions of interest. And I think by the time we got to the formal offer stages, there was like 3 to 5 people there. So I actually had some competitive negotiation. I had I had like leverage, and this is helping me so much. I mean, I'll finish the story. So that was back in October. I think we put the expressions of interest up, and then once I started talking to people, it was great. Like I had a lot of open-hearted conversations, and there probably got down to about 3 to 5 people that I actually really liked who started to submit some expressions of interest and start to put some offers on the table. Um, After that, I actually was thinking I didn't just want the best offer for me financially. I wanted the best one for my clients and my team
Mhm.
because selling an agency, without the clients and team, you're nothing. You're absolutely nothing. You don't have a bit product. You don't have a business other than that. And I wanted my clients to feel like, hey, these guys are going to a home where they're going to be treated better than they were in our world. And I wanted my employees to know that, hey, the career growth opportunities with this new company that you're going to be joining are better than what I could ever offer you. Future raises, rewards, everything like that. And at the back of that, Mason just stood out. Mason Interactive just stood out for me because not only did they want to offer all my employees sort of employment, which they've made good on, and like my team is super excited. They've flown the team over, done like the full face-to-face engagements, which they don't need to do. They wanted to do it because they're committed to the business. Not only that, they want to keep the business intact. They don't want you hear horror stories. My friend Phil told me about how
Yeah.
someone bought his company and then 6 weeks later was like, "Hey, I know you normally sell 3-month engagements, but we're now going to do a 12-month upfront commitment on all contracts, and if no one signs, then your earnout's fucked as well." Pardon my French. So like it was one of those things where it's like if you're in the wrong like if you choose the wrong business partners, the upfront cash payment is all you're going to get. But at this point I feel like I've picked the right business partners. They feel very committed to the rest of the transaction. They feel very committed to my clients. They're giving my new clients a bunch of ad spend credits and free services as part of moving over.
Amazing.
um,
And of
and
course, we can't guarantee that, but really, it's the nature of the process that we're running that got you to the position where you had three to five to choose from. That really got that result, yeah, and that is a perfect scenario to get into where you've got the leverage to choose, not just have to accept that there's an offer, but to choose which one was the best for your people
totally.
as well, which is amazing.
Totally. I mean, it's you guys are a service provider, and like I often get pissed when my clients demand too much from me. It's like, oh, well, why aren't my Facebook ads working or whatever else? It's like, well, we're giving it our best shot, but you haven't had a new photo shoot in the last 6 years. So it's like, and your competitors are pumping out new content. So it's kind of like it's any good entrepreneur knows that you can't just hold the service provider 100% responsible. If you want to do that, you probably won't be in a position to sell a business. Yeah, so um,
Yeah.
I
Well,
think it's one of those.
it was a good solid process on our side, I think, but also you were very responsive and very reactive to like you said, any advice that we gave you, you completely just you met it, and if there was anything that you needed to change about how we were presenting the business, you were happy to do it and get the deals on the table and just run the process basically, which is pretty
Totally.
exhausting. It's an exhausting process.
It's an exhausting process, and for someone who's not like I always use this analogy. It's like if you're building a house, you get 50% of the way through. You're like, oh, I can see this house coming together. It's like got walls, it's got kind of half a roof now, it's got some doors on it. Just need to do some painting and I'll be there. But you get 50% of the way through the deal, you're still 0% of the way through it. You get 99% of the way through it, and you're still 0%. Until that signature lands, you've done nothing. And it can fall apart at any
Good
point,
point.
and it almost did 4 or 5 times. But I think you guys with a good steadying hand on my shoulder to be like, hang on, don't freak out. Like this isn't like a normal part of the process. You know,
Yeah.
do this, do that. And I think that was a really good for me because you guys have seen and done it before. You've done it with so many different clients. Um, so yeah, I mean, for me, it was a good process to run. It was a great learning experience, but like I was really buoyed by how much you guys could help me through that process. There's a lot of conversations that I didn't need to have because David had them on my behalf. So I'd just be like, hey guys, can you tell this to the buyer? And then you guys would have that conversation. So I didn't need to have that. So it made my life easier because I mean, the other thing is, as you're selling the business, you still need to continue running the business as if it's not going to be sold, just
Yep.
in case something falls through. And you know, if it was too onerous, then the business would have started to fail, and then the deal starts to fail, and everything else. So, yeah, I think there's something just to be said about like how easy you guys made it for me. Like I just had to show up to calls and say what my piece is. I definitely had to, um, crack the whip a few times to be like, come on, lawyers and team, like let's fucking do this. And so did the buyer. So I do think like for anyone going through this process, like look your buyer in the face and be like, hey, if you want a deal done, like let's just go through this process. Let's not waste too much time
Yeah,
because
it was a
if
great.
we want, yeah,
Again, that was on Mason's part. That was an amazing sort of attitude that they had about it. I always do say that is just get in a room and don't let the lawyers in. Just
yeah,
on your own. But
hash out the details and then get
yeah,
don't look, I loved my lawyer throughout it. And I'm sure, and you know, the buyer's lawyer was his dad, so of course he loves him. Um, what I'll say is, the lawyers should not be decision makers in the conversation. They should be people who are like consulted and being like informed. It's like, hey, we decided this. Now you go write this down into a way that makes sense. Um, you know, they shouldn't be there having opinions because they'll happily have opinions. They'll just charge you in 6 minute increments for it.
but they make things so much worse. I think you're 100% right. The only real thing that they should be doing is turning a conversation into the legal version of that on a piece of paper. But
Yeah,
anything else, opinions or any kind of feedback is like it needs to be completely minimal and
yeah,
only really if it's required either by law or you just can't see a mistake, a huge mistake that you're about to make without this piece of
totally. Yeah, and look again, my lawyer Pam Lambert was incredible. Like, she really really took good care of me and knew everything. It was just more like, yeah, it's just personal. It's just like I can't believe we gave so much power to this one profession that can rule your life and charge you up the nose for it. Anyway, um, look, I had a very positive time, and you know, I'm 6 weeks after the deal now,
well, yeah.
and and I can tell you now, my stress levels are so way down. I'm super energized and excited. Oftentimes, the founder just wants to take chips off the table. I feel like the opposite. I feel like a new leaf has been turned. I have access to resources and opportunities that I have not had in the past. The new team wants to invest in me, and you know, it is somewhat of a still honeymoon period, but I tend to have a good gut feel for these things, and I don't think that they're going to screw me. And I think that's what every agency is thinking, agency owners thinking when they agree to like a longer term earn out. Um, I'm very excited for what's to come next. But I think there's like a real opportunity for our team to be like making our clients so much happier in the future. And I think that's really something that I'm proud of. And I couldn't be more thankful to you, Andy, and your team because you guys really brought everyone to the table. You know, I didn't have to do anything. You guys, I gave you guys some information and you ran with it, and then you had some people at the table negotiating, keeping people interested, giving people the right strategic bits of information to keep them interested, painting my business in the right way better than I could have. Um, and then just getting the deal done. Like honestly, like there was a process to follow. Was it smooth? No, but no deal process ever is.
Never. They never are. I mean, it did feel like there was a couple of moments where the wheels could have completely come off. But every deal has those moments. And I think it's
Yeah,
somebody somewhere has to have slightly more patience than everybody else to just sort of nudge it through those difficult moments. And we did have, I mean, your lawyer was brilliant, and David as well, our managing director, was very patient during some of the process. But yeah, it was a fantastic team effort to get it over the line. It was fantastic, really good.
yeah, no, and you know, Jack was great in terms of managing. Like, you know, he was phoning into calls, which at like 11 p.m. his time. So
Yeah.
really showed the dedication and stuff. And um, same with David, he was coming across town to meetings and stuff in New York. You were always available for me. So I never felt like I'm dealing with some faceless company. I definitely felt like, okay, if I need to pick up the phone to Andy, I can. And that was huge. And I would definitely do business with you, Andy, again, and your team, because I think it's just like, in fact, the buyer has expressed as much. My agency is not not the only one they want to buy. They want to deal with, agencies.co again and capital A again, because they found that process smooth. They know how to do it now. So the next one along, they can skip all the sticky wickets and just kind of like go to the story.
We're going to work with them again. Yeah, we've had a few meetings since, so it's all looking good. And what's next for you then? I guess you're working now within the Mason business, but still very ambitious for Spotlight. But how do you see yourself in a few years? Maybe working higher up the management, doing more acquisitions, or what's the dream?
Yeah, I don't know yet, is the honest answer. I'm going to take until August. I'm going to Bali in August and I'm going to relax. It's going to be my first time I put the laptop away, and I'm away for like 4 weeks without anyone. And I think that's really just necessary. Spend some time with the family for the next couple of months. Look, for the next 12 months, I'm going to be working with Mason, and I'm really excited with that. I'm rebuilding the sales process with them, and already I'm closed 3 deals for them. So like
Oh,
I'm still going to be working hard at what I know how to do, which is sales and strategy and digital marketing. 3 years from now, I don't know. I think the entrepreneurial itch is always going to be there. But having said that, I worked for 5 to 6 years in a major consulting firm and loved being an employee as well. So who knows? The right opportunity will fall. Like Andy, when you came in my life, it was kind of by happenstance as well. When I started the agency, it was kind of by happenstance. When I joined a major consulting firm like PwC, that was by happenstance. So long story short, I'm gonna see what the universe provides for me, and I know it'll probably be good.
yeah. No, I can understand that. And knowing you as well as I do now, I think that's probably the best way forward for you. But one thing that really struck me from the moment we met is that you are so investable. You're obviously a really what can I say, a really talented person in what you do, which is that whole sales process, but also understanding from start to finish of what it is that your company provides for your clients as well. And just, yeah, a really special guy. I'm really pleased for you for the result that you've got, and hope we can work together. Certainly see you again
100%.
because we
And
we work with Mason next. So
honestly, I try, and I really don't mean this just to blow smoke up your ass. I do think you're like genuinely someone that stood out to me. Like I said, I've had so many other brokers come to the table promising. You never promised anything. You from the very beginning just seemed like a good dude that like I could go down to the pub with and have a beer with and like talk bullshit with. And I hope that we can do that in sometime in the future. Um, but yeah, look, I think I think Andy, I think I'm really thankful to have met you, and you quite honestly have changed my life in many ways. I keep saying to people this has been a life altering outcome for me. It's come at a time that I mean it was just perfect timing with everything that's going on with my family, and people like my wife thank you 1,000 times over, because they're like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe how much less stressed he is now. So yeah, I mean, I'm really thankful to have happened upon you and your platform, and to have worked with you and taken that leap of faith. Certainly been rewarded for it, and as have you guys. And I can't wait to work together, whether that's in kind of like another acquisition with Mason, because I'll be around. I don't have plans to go anywhere, and I really love the team and I love what they're doing. So yeah, I mean, yes, I'll be there, and if they make another acquisition, I'll be looking to help them, coach them through that. But if not there, then elsewhere, I'm sure our paths will cross.
no, I'm sure we'll be working together on the same bench this time with the Masons.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. I should imagine they'll be deferring to you for some of the onboarding of the new targets as well. once they.
Yeah. Oh, totally. They'll be looking for my perspective. And yeah, I mean, look, one thing that's really clear for me is like you want to have partnerships occur that feel like relationship building. Like Brooke Mason, their team has felt like a relationship. Like they flew me out during the buying process. They made me meet a bunch of their team. We went out for dinner. I was like, and everyone's got to pass the old like, can I stand you? Could I sit? If we were stranded in an airport for too long, could we even have a conversation? Or would I just get so bored and tired of you that I'd never want to see you again? So like they passed that test with flying colors. Me and the VP of Ops had a bunch of beers like after hours, and we were just kind of talking shit to each other about how hard managing an agency is. And I was like, wow, I could really entrust my clients with this guy. This guy really cares about client management, and service excellence. So I feel really lucky to have happened upon them. And very happy to be part of the team. Like happy to be part of a team that I know can do much greater things together than we could have by ourselves.
Yeah, it's an amazing outcome. Really, really great. Just such a good match on both sides. Well, I'm really happy for you, Arjun, and congratulations to you and your family. And also for taking 4 weeks off. I mean, that's just something really special, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's
any entrepreneurs that get that. So I think if there is one thing to say about selling your company after running it yourself for so long, is that particular perk of actually being
yeah,
able to take a holiday, and somebody else is going to be there to catch the business if it falls. So
totally. I mean, that's the whole pitch. It's like, I'm not going to be running the business anymore. I don't need to be around it. The whole point of it is it's not, yeah, I'm still very much invested, both from an emotional perspective and a financial perspective, like in a real terms. But at the same time, it's a team sport now. It's not just me trying to be, all things to everyone. It's like we've leveled up from, college sports where there's like one superstar to the NFL or the NBA where there's multiple superstars. And, if someone's out, someone else can take the load. So I feel really good about it. Yeah.
in the big leagues now.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you very much. We're on a big time difference. Here I am in the UK, and you in the US on the West Coast. So I appreciate you got a whole day ahead of you. A big mug of coffee will hopefully power you through.
It's all
Well,
good.
thank you very much for your time, Arjun, and good luck. And we'll speak soon. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Dave. Bye.